From 1645 onwards, the Holy See became concerned with the purity of faith in China, reaffirming God cannot be translated as Shangdi and must be called Deus. Churches could not have plaques with inscriptions like Revere Heaven. Christians could not participate in rites for Confucius or worship ancestors. Classical Chinese texts could not be praised, etc. Kangxi explained that Shangdi is precisely the Christian God. The use of heaven was not for the physical heaven. Rites for Confucius and ancestors were not religious in nature, but expressions of respect, and not in conflict with Christianity.
When you just arrived in China, how much did you understand China? You might not even know how to speak Mandarin, but you would come and say, "You can't burn incense here because it's idolatry." You were baptized. Why do you still worship your ancestors? Even to the missionaries, some would say, "You're not doing your job properly. You're working for the devil. This is heretical." In Europe, we place flowers on graves. Is this because the person buried there still had a nose that could smell their fragrance?
The Pope sent the 34-year-old Bishop Charles Thomas Maliard du Tournon to China, threatening Chinese Christians with excommunication. Kangxi ordered for his immediate expulsion. The Pope then sent Bishop Carlo Ambrosio Mezzabarba to China. Kangxi met with him 13 times. When Kangxi finally read papal documents which held no room for compromise, he responded as follows: "How can we speak to those narrow-minded Westerners about the grand principles of China? From now on, the Westerners may no longer practice their religion. It is now banned to avoid further trouble."
The tragedy was because of the Catholic Church. It had nothing to do with China. Kangxi was incredibly supportive of Catholicism. In the end, Kangxi had no choice. He could not obey what the Holy See ordered him to do. If others wanted him to obey the orders, they had to leave China. Kangxi ordered the Catholics to leave.
I think Kangxi's relationship with Christianity was one of mutual respect and admiration. Whether or not the relationship went deeper, whether Kangxi actually became a Christian, I think there was still some distance. While Kangxi accepted different perspectives and religions, he would still place them within Chinese traditions. He maintained stability by not allowing new ideas to challenge China's imperial power and social customs. If others agreed and submitted to his conditions, if they could work with him, then it didn't matter what they believed. If others challenged things, they would shake the foundations of his sovereignty. I think that the controversy of rites was really a breach of an unspoken agreement and mutual understanding.
In 1724, 4 years after Kangxi banned Christianity, Emperor Yongzheng decreed that all Christians were to reject their faith or face capital punishment. All missionaries were given half a year to leave the country. Over 300,000 Christians were persecuted. 300 churches were seized. Over 50 missionaries either went into hiding or escaped.
Whose fault was it? Was the Holy See too arrogant? Or the emperor too stubborn? Was it the fault of the people or the will of God? People must decide for themselves. But recently, the Holy See decided the Church bore a large responsibility. It was too demanding and not understanding enough of Chinese culture.
If Chinese Christians followed the Holy See, they would not be able to participate in ancestral rites and imperial examinations. they would be considered ungrateful children and inferior citizens. If they followed Kangxi and continued to worship their ancestors, they would have defied Christian doctrine. At the time, being a good Chinese and a good Christian seemed as incompatible as water and fire. Under these circumstances, God made the best choices. Afterwards, China went through the May 4th movement, the Cultural Revolution, the economic reform, and various other assaults. To be a good Chinese today, one no longer has to disobey the Christian faith. Instead, we need the Christian faith. We can exclaim, God's decisions are always best.